What's good people, it's Ocean here. Welcome back to the channel, welcome to the video. In today's one, I want to show you 5 ways that you can chop, flip, manipulate and make your samples more unique. So yeah, let's get into it.
Ocean gang go drown!
Alright, so first things first, before we go ahead and chop our samples, we need to go and find some good samples. So the first place that I like to look is on YouTube. I like to go to a channel called Vinyl Frontier. It's a channel that uploads records and old vinyl. So you can literally go to Vinyl Frontier, you can type in something like Vinyl Frontier Soul. And they literally got whole playlists of different samples that they uploaded. So all these ones would be perfect for soul. And even if you don't go to Vinyl Frontier, there's still like a bunch of playlists that you can go through and find some loops, find some samples. Another one that I like to look on YouTube is Ricardo Marana. And again on this channel it's got hundreds, thousands of samples that you can go through, listen to and chop. And then the way I download the music from YouTube, I literally just type in something like YouTube to MP3 and then you just input the link into one of these websites and you can download it to your computer. Another website that I really like to go to is Loopman. Loopman has thousands of royalty-free loops, waves. You can literally go through, play a sample, go ahead and download it once you sign up, and it's all free as well. So those are like the main 2 places that I find samples. So I've gone ahead, flipped through Loopman and I find a sample that I really like. I'm just gonna adjust the BPM to it. It's 155. And here's how it sounds. It sounds really dark. I think I could turn this into like a drill beat or maybe a freestyle trap beat. The first way you can manipulate a sample is probably the easiest, the most straightforward, and it's literally just reversing the samples. The easiest way to do this in Logic Pro X is just select your audio file, go to region, go to more, and tick this box where it says reverse. And it puts your audio backwards, gives it a total different vibe. The second way to make your samples unique and flip them is of course chopping them up. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. The first way is by using a stock plugin called EX24 in Logic Pro X or Serato samples. So let me show you both ways. Before you go ahead and chop your samples, you have to make sure that your sample is in the right BPM. So mine is 155, I put it to 155. If I had it on like 143 and started chopping, it's gonna be very difficult to get right. So I'm gonna leave it at 155. You wanna select your audio file. The chop tool is Command T. I'm just gonna chop it at every beat, like that. Now of course you don't have to chop it at every beat like I do. You can find pieces in the sample which you like and chop it there. But this is how I wanna do it. I'm gonna select everything, I'm gonna double click, and then I'm gonna choose Convert to New Sampler Track. So it's gonna put it in the EX24 sampler for us. This is what we got now. All mapped out on the keyboard. So now I've got it mapped out on my MIDI keyboard. I can go ahead and play. That kind of sounds like a boom bap beat. I'm gonna go ahead and record something down. And then I can control everything again, shift backslash. So now it sounds quite different to the original. And from there I could add some drums on it. For that kind of melody, I think boom bap beat would be perfect. Now the second way I like to do this in Logic Pro X, sometimes I don't use the stock plugin, I like to use one called Serato Sample. It is paid, but you can get a free trial version. So once you load it up, all you gotta do is drag it in here. And the best thing about Serato Sample is that if I change the BPM in my DAW, it will automatically sync it up. And that's the thing, when you chop up your samples, the audio file, it doesn't sync up unless you time stretch it. So I can literally do exactly the same thing I did before. I'm just holding down the key. This is how I'm chopping the samples, just holding down the key and switching. And then now from here I can The good thing about Serato sample as well is that you can change the attack of a certain key, you can do the filter, you can change the pitch, you could even time stretch it. And let's say you didn't know where to chop this melody, you can just choose find samples, you can set random, you can set slicer. So I'm gonna hit that. And it just automatically finds samples for you. So that's 2 ways you can chop samples in Logic Pro X. The third way to manipulate your sample is to literally throw a bunch of effects on top of it. Now there's a few plugins that I usually go for when I'm manipulating my samples with effects. I like to use RC20 to make it a bit more vinyl. I like to use Effectrix to make it stutter and reverse certain parts of it. Rhythmizer to half speed it, and I show you all what I do. So for example, I can go in and add Rhythmizer. So I could use the 50% speed. I think it makes this one sound too dark though. There's some other options like the complex presets. This kind of acts like gross beat of Logic Pro X. Another good plugin I like to use is Effectrix by Sugar Bytes. Add in the stutter. And another good one for like completely changing the vibe is Shaper Box by Cable Guys. So there's a bunch of different things you can do here. You can play around with the time, the filter, the volume. Let me go ahead and add a filter on top of this. Now it sounds completely different, it sounds like a new vibe. Then I just added in some RC20 just to make it a bit more retro, a bit more vintage. There's so many different effects out there that you can literally go through a bunch of stock plugins, see what you can add on like reverb, modulation. These are just the ones that I choose to go to, the ones that I use the most. But yeah, that is the third way to manipulate your sample. The fourth way that I like to change up the sample is literally changing the pitch of it. If you're using Logic Pro X, the stock way to do it is go to pitch shifter, and whack up the mix to 100%, and you can play with this. Move it up and down semitones, some sense. It can make it sound a bit more darker, make it sound more light-hearted. In my opinion, the pitch shifter in Logic Pro X is a bit weak. It gives it a weird sound. I really don't like the stock plugin for changing the pitch. Instead, I prefer to use Sound Shifter by Waves. If you see my other videos, you see me use this all the time. And it just gives you a bit more options, a bit more choice. You can just move this knob up and down until you hear something that you like. So I can make it brighter, more lighthearted. Make it darker. The fifth way to make your samples unique is to literally change the tempo, change the BPM. So we know that this sample is 155 BPM, which I've got up here. But let's say I want to make it a bit more slower. I can drop the BPM down, but just dropping the BPM down in Logic Pro X doesn't do nothing for the sample. So if I play it right now, it's still at 150 BPM. We have to manually do that. So we got to put our arrow to the corner until we get this symbol right here. Then we need to hold down Option, and now we got like this, I don't know, these couple of lines. It's a weird looking symbol. Hopefully you can see it. And then hold it down and drag it to the end. So now our tempo is shifted. It's a bit slower. Or let's say we wanted to speed it up. We wanted to have it like 180. It's the same thing. This time you can see that the sample is outside the 8 bars. So we need to drag it back down inside. So we've got to put our arrow to the end, Option, and drag that back. Sometimes when you pitch shift in Logic, it kind of ruins the sample. Like you can hear, it doesn't sound as clean as it was before. That's why I like to do it in Serato sample as well. If I drag in my sample there, it just auto syncs it to the BPM, so you don't have to do any of this long stuff. And another way to make your samples unique, chop it, flip it, whatever, One that just popped in my head literally, I guess this could be like the 6 or the bonus, I guess, is to add a counter melody. So if I go back to the original is in A minor, A sharp minor. So if I opened up a piano, I just make sure that every note that I play in is in the A sharp minor scale. This one, I feel like it doesn't need anything else added to it. It sounds quite full. If I added something else, I think it would be too much. So I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. But that is another way to just add something more to your samples, make it a bit more unique, add in a counter melody. Now the bonus is do all of these at once. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do now. So what we got, I wanna make it 140 BPM. I'm gonna drag that out, chop it here. So I'm literally just chopping out that last note. And then I'm gonna select them, go to region, reverse that last note, that key. So now this is what it sounds like. And then I think I'm gonna add some sound shifter on this. Could even add in some RC20. And I think I'm good to go. I kind of like the sample like that. To make it quick, I'm just gonna add in some drums that I did for one of the beats that I've done recently. So to do that, I can just go to File, Import Logic Projects, and then I'm gonna select the project that I wanna import, and then I can go ahead and tick the content and the plugins, which are all my drums. This one kind of sounds like a UK rap beat, or maybe even like a hard freestyle beat. I think I might just keep the 808s really simple. And then control everything, shift backslash, all together now. Something simple like that. And then remember I had the sample with the sound shifter. So I can open up the mixer, control or option, hold down option and drag it over so it duplicates. And just like that, a really quick beat. And that's how you chop, flip, manipulate, script, dip your sample and make it unique. Those are 5 quick ways, 6 quick ways maybe, with a bonus on top. I hope you find this useful and now you can manipulate your samples and not just drag in a sample or a loop and use it for what it is. You can be a bit more creative and unique with it. But those are just some basic quick ways to get you thinking and yeah, making your samples more unique. If you enjoyed it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, that's about it for this tutorial. I'll see you guys in the future.